Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, June 13th. We are trying to recover from the E3 presentation, just get through all that news and the bits of news that are trickling through as E3 is still going on, but the press conferences are done. I have decided to put out each of the press conferences separately. Turns out I don't think I've been putting tags on any of the live streams also, so oops. Like, it could very well be that hundreds of people are going to start watching my live streams, or my live streams are going to start pushing more people to watching other of my videos, or it may prove that using no tags actually was the right way to go because YouTube doesn't like the amount or the tags I pick. As for Hearthstone, I need to play 5 spells and get a Tavern Brawl done. I'm struggling with this Tavern Brawl, quite frankly, but some of that certainly is because I'm just trying to get through news. News like Gematsu has an article, Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Darkness, launches September 18th in North America and September 21st in Europe. This Labyrinth of Refrain is a pretty basic looking dungeon crawler game. It's coming out for PC, PS4, and Switch according to Gematsu's tags. It's rated M for mature, apparently. I didn't realize that. So M for mature probably indicates there's something more to it, but the actual game looks pretty boring, so it looks like something you might do if you were really bored, and that's about it. Right. So let's close that news and move on. A slightly odd announcement happened during the Ubisoft press conference, in that Ubisoft, after showing a rather impressive Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer, although, I mean, you really can't get hyped about Beyond Good and Evil 2 because it may be 10 years off. It may just never come out. It's been teased forever, and just because they made some fancy trailers doesn't mean they have the skill, design, and ability to actually make a final product. And sort of integrated into that, they partnered with this service. It's, I guess, kind of like a co-op attempt at it's like I think a co-op attempt to make a new YouTube, but in a slightly different way. It's an attempt to actually collaborate. So as a video game critic, I probably wouldn't feel welcome or even be allowed to be on the Hit Record service because I wouldn't want to collaborate or be forced into collaborating, or my level of quality would just not let me be admitted, because I don't think it's something where everybody is ever going to be allowed. But Hit Record is now working by putting out basically Fiverr requests, I guess is the best equivalent to say there, to say that people are going to specifically, there's going to be specific requests for certain types of art, and you're going to submit that art, and if it's accepted for that art, whether it's a visual art thing or an audio thing, or I think that's all they're really going to do, because it seems like it would be unrealistic for Ubisoft to take people's code or take take people's animations, 3D wireframe animations or anything like that. So it's probably going to stick to music, sound effects, and visual things. And for the most part, the way it was sold is that if you make like a fan art or something, it's gonna I don't think it's supposed to actually be fan art. It's gonna be ads that are just playing incidentally in the backgrounds on these giant holographic billboards. It's not like the main stuff. You're not drawing Jade from what it looks like. And the way it was shown certainly didn't explain that you would be paid if you're accepted. It definitely felt like, and it was certainly brought up that it felt like they were saying, do this for free for us with no payment. However, that being said, the payment still probably is pretty terrible. If you spend 200 hours making really, really good art and they give you $20, the Hit Records in this article says they put down $50,000 for a community payment sum in the budget to pay contributors. So if you're getting 500 pieces of art out of that, then you're paying every person $100, $50. That's pretty low payment. Assuming they're asking for 500 pieces of art, which maybe they're only asking for 100 pieces of art, and then it's close to $500. I imagine it will change drastically based on just what the ask is. Some projects I wouldn't be surprised, or it might pay out 10 or 20 times more. Generally speaking, though, this is a terrible way, and it shows a lack of interest in having creative control, more creative control than just a simple yes, we'll allow this in our game, or no, we won't allow this in our game. So Ubisoft doesn't seem like they care about the creative control and the visual aesthetic being slightly off because there's multiple artists doing multiple things. And that like in the real world, advertisements are very different, and there are multiple artists doing those. So I kind of get what they're thinking. It's just it's not as realistic as, or not something that I think they should have done. It seems pathetic. It seems like a stupid idea. It seems like some hipster idea that somebody thought up. Return. Really shouldn't have been done at the press conference. It should have been a pre-show or post-show announcement. They should have ended Beyond the Good and Evil 2 at the end of that trailer. If they had nothing else to say about it, and they really didn't, this added nothing. It just added confusion and took away from an impact. Arguably, Beyond Good and Evil 2 should have been at the very end and been the showstopper for Ubisoft's press conference, because it would have been a major showstopper if it just said, like the last thing that's in that teaser is it shows Jade as potentially the bad girl in the story, and the pig from the first story, and the pig goes Jade. So if it just done that, and that was it, and maybe somebody they went back to the stage and says, everybody, that's it, thanks for coming, and just quickly wrapped up the the rest of the presentation. That's kind of all it needed to do. Let's see. This and this. Gonna attack here. And I could attack here, but I don't see a real reason to. None of the wrap-ups of any of the present conferences were great, large, showstopper moments. Moving on, Eurogamer has an article, a few missed morsels from the PC gaming show. Let's see, they're talking about Sable, Nightcall, The Forgotten City, Noida, Rapture Rejects, Ooblets. That's not missed morsels from the PC gaming show, really. Those are all games I caught and saw all of. PC Gamer has an article, BioWare is, quote, Mass Effect, Mike Gamble says, or BioWare says, Mass Effect is certainly not dead. Mike Gamble says he wants to make sure there's a future for Mass Effect and Anthem is a priority. For the most part, it's pretty obvious that Anthem is a priority, and I don't think there's anything that's going to stop it from being a priority. Darn it. Let's just do this then. Give me that and that. Okay. That worked for that. And then win. This is an article on PC Gamer that I might have read any other week, but I don't have time to read it today, so I'm gonna close that. Pack around, and we played the 35 spells, so we are now done for today as far as the Asian account, and we can move over to the European account. Come on, 5 legendaries. And see, Hearthstone seems like they retweet maybe a couple of people that say thanks and put a screenshot of getting really good packs when they do this, but I almost think that they're plants, or at the very least there's a definite strategy there where they're only retweeting a couple of them. They're not retweeting everybody, which is, I guess, probably a good idea, because that would get rather annoying rather fast. So we're done with the Asian account. We've got a nice bit of dust. Let's see. Let's switch over to the European account now. There's a game on Steam called Timber Tales. Timber Tales is a fantasy-based strategy game with unique nature theme. It looks a lot... It's like a hexagon-based game that could be based or somewhat based on a very popular board game that I can't think of, Catan, Settlers of Catan. It looks a little bit like that. Otherwise though, it's boring graphics, and I just don't think the graphics sell it enough to interest me. It's 15% off for $3.39. Let's go ahead and open our golden pack. These will be golden cards we just turned to dust. So ideally, a legendary here, or 2, or 5, could give me so much dust that I could craft a lot of things. But the truth of the matter is they probably set this to only give you the lowest of the low. And I suppose if I was at a point on even my main account where I could start to keep goldens, you can see none of those are new. Maybe throughout the process I could slowly fill up the 2 goldens of commons and then guarantee on the rare occasions that I get a golden pack, I have a much higher chance of getting epics and legendaries. But right now 50 dust is 50 dust, and it's more likely I will have hit the point where I am totally just burnt out with Hearthstone before I have complete golden collections even on my main account. And see, this is 100 dust, and it doesn't feel like we're that far off from the next yeah, I don't even have 2 of those. It doesn't feel like we're that far off from the next expansion. So with this dust now, HS Replay can tell me you should craft this card, you should craft this card. I have a lot of dust that either could be used to craft a lot of missing common cards, or could be used to craft what HS Replay tells me to get, which that would be fine. Let's see. We still have an arena play here, so let's just keep playing here. Let's see. Timber Tales doesn't have any reviews. It has like 6 positive and 1 negative. 1 negative's not in my language.
Thrall versus Anduin.
This game's in English and German.
For Doomhammer.
And it's from a developer who's made one other game that didn't get reviewed. Let's see. Actually, I want to win here, so I might actually decide to pay a much better attention. This is kind of funny. The developer of Timber Tales made a game called Flat Fat Cat, all squished together as one word. And I'm gonna wait, actually. It seems like you're basically playing pool with a giant cat to knock around, with a orange cat to knock around other cats. It's kind of a silly mobile looking game. But yep, I can't recommend or wishlist either one of those games because they just don't. Whenever you draw this this tavern, this arena run has all these crazy cards in them. Next game we have on Steam is called Dawn of Celestial Pod. It, to me, looks like it is a bullet hell shooter, but maybe not. Maybe you're not flying as much as maybe you're using these tentacles to grab things. There is shooting, but you're kind of playing as this space faring squid, it seems. That's what we summon.
Give me a quest.
Says it's an action adventure indie violent strategy according to the tags. says swing through deadly spaceships as a squid on a journey to save species from eternal enslavement. Yeah, I guess you can't call this a bullet hell shooter. There is a little bit of a Terraria aspect, it seems like, where certain explosions just destroy the environment. But I'm not sure that plays such a significant role that it knocks this out from contention. It's $5.99. It says 10 unique ships to special tools to kill, 1 boss created in your image, upgrade system. Seems like it's a pretty small game. And it has like 2 positive reviews, only 1 in English. Deal full damage restore. There we go. Let's see. No, actually 2 of them. Let's see. There's a couple of games here. Let's see the developer. This is the first game they've ever made. I'll keep an eye on this one. Dawn of the Celestial Pod. I can't actually recommend it right now, but I can say you might want to wishlist it and keep an eye on it and see if anybody comes back and has some reviews. It is definitely one of those games that it would be helpful to have reviews on this, telling us what to do. So I'm gonna do this, I guess. And in the turn. Next game we have on Steam is called Hex Trains. It seems to me to be a tower defense game. Yep, tower defense with trains. And what's the point here? Seems like you're shooting trains so they don't crash into each other, or the trains just go in circles forever anyways, so you can always shoot them. And one assumes your score is maybe going down with your time.
I wonder.
I don't think there's anything here that really makes it worth $4.99 with no reviews. Frankly, tower defense is one of those kiss of death styles of games. I'm just not gonna play it. Bit of sad news. June 11th, the Bomberman developer and Hudson Soft veteran Shoji Mizuno passed away. Let's see. So this is one of those older Japanese developers that probably hasn't done anything recently, but of course that's going to be the case. Anyways, the Bomberman franchise, up and down, has never really been amazing, but it's never been terrible either, and it certainly has its fans. Let's see. There's really nothing here that says how he died or what he died of. There's nothing saying that he was even working in the industry still. He probably was rather old and potentially retired. 3 damage to 2 random enemies. Alright. Can't hit this one, right? So shuffle the cards. If I'm gonna want to win, I'm gonna have to deal with this guy somehow. So yeah, we'll move on from that. Next game we have on Steam is called Grotoro, Grotoro. Says it's a simple arcade game, free to play, action, indie, casual. And it seems like all it is asteroids, with the slight difference that you're playing as some kind of celestial being in the form of a bull. It seems like it also is multiplayer only, free. Seems to be pretty frantic. There's, let's see, 4 positive reviews. Let's see, freeze a minion and deal 4 damage. Have to wait on that. Instead of drawing, discover.
Be buried.
There's literally no way to stop this guy as far as I can tell. The stasis dragon, I don't think there's a way to stop him from spawning, because I don't think I can target him with anything. Yeah, nothing shows up as far as Grotoro that would make it interesting. The developer has made 3 positively rated games and 2 mixed rated games, so they're not a horrible troll developer. It's just doesn't look super interesting to me, and it's a multiplayer game anyways. There's some weird thing on June 12th where ScumVM a second time put out the same press release announcing that Cyan was using ScumVM to run the Myst Masterpiece Edition, Riven, the sequel to Myst, and Mystery Exile in their upcoming 25th anniversary release. I probably said this last time that the announcement came out, but it's a disappointment, certainly, when you have a slight desire and a slight hope that the game, the Riven, would have been remastered on a new engine and would run better and look better. But that's obviously not going to happen if it's just going through the ScumVM emulator, and Myst Masterpiece Edition is not getting anything really improved upon it. And Mystery Exile, I guess, like, the thing is that it will be available for purchase and hopefully on Steam, and I don't think Mystery Exile right now is available for purchase on Steam. So I'm happy, I guess, that I can play it, but I also kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a 30th anniversary that comes out, or a new remastered version that comes out pretty quickly that once again has the effect of trying to resell those games with the polish. Ideally, I'd like to see the Myst games all slowly, over the course of 6 or 7 years, get remade in something like Unity or Unreal Engine 4, and just new assets. See if you can squeeze maybe some of the footage in, but maybe you need to just animate all the characters that were live action people before. Maybe remake the games in half remake and half reboot form, so the storylines are slightly different. The Real Myst Masterpiece Edition apparently is not going to be running through ScumVM, which I probably couldn't. And they've already done that, gone down that route. They need to do it again. But I don't know why they announced it and then they didn't. They announced it again. Maybe they accidentally announced it the first time and they weren't ready. And certainly it's an announcement coming from ScumVM. It's not really an announcement that it's that's coming from Cyan. So so there certainly is a different level there. Okay, that was interesting. Next game we have on Steam is called Dead Pixels Adventures. It looks like garbage. It's 59 cents, 40% off. Just wanted to keep some of these bad games on the list just so we can say, yeah, this one came out June 12th, that bad games are coming back. PC Gamer has an article, Lawbreakers is closing in September, will be free to play until then. It looked like, because Lawbreakers went to free to play on Steam, that maybe they were trying to save Lawbreakers, but I think they'd already announced that they were shutting down the servers on it, and they just turned it to free to play just to be kind. Well, that was my... there's a 0-win arena run. Good thing I didn't pay for it. So you get your 2 packs for 0 wins. One will be a pack and one will be either about 35 gold or maybe 30 dust. 30 dust in a pack.
What set is that from? We don't have that one in my timeline.
And that's the reason why I don't play Arena. Come on, Legendary. Come on, Gold Legendary. Well, I can't complain about 2 epics, can I?
Epic! Epic!
So, Witchwood epic cards? Not terrible to get them, but if we go into crafting mode and look at the missing in the Witchwood compilation, I think the amount is going to be pretty high for the European account, because we didn't really buy that many European account cards. Maybe 10, maybe 20. Didn't I mark all of these off already? So, like, yes, we got a couple epics. Maybe they're what I need, maybe they're not. We are making progress with 1135 dust to having maybe HS Replay tell me what cards I actually really need. I'm still, though, very focused on getting a classic neutral collection. There's a complete collection in classic cards. This Hearthstone would really give everybody a wonderful boost if they just, every single player gets 2 copies of every single classic cards. That's it. And then all the old players who've been playing forever would have a ton of cards to dust, and they could waste the dust trying to make golden cards if they want to make golden cards, or making other cards that they want to make, or and every newer player can say, well, now I've got a complete collection of the classics. Let's see, I need to play 2 more dragons and 25 cards and do this tavern brawl. So let's play this. Yeah, Lawbreakers came and went pretty fast. It's shutting down support on September 14th, 2018. It's almost like the Battle Royale element that was getting added to a lot of games were simply the last efforts and last gasps of a lot of people trying to make games like Overwatch, and we're just seeing the end of a cycle of Overwatch's popularity, which I guess that's why you don't follow trends in video games, is because it takes you far too long to make a game that actually could follow trends, that actually could follow the trend. And to be fair, even Overwatch, I haven't heard anything interesting or new about Overwatch in at least 4 or 5 months. So that game also feels like it's settled into its niche, and it's going to just be something like Counter-Strike Go, where it's popular amongst its crowd, but it doesn't grow any audience or add any amazing new mechanics or anything. Game Center has an article, Get a Job, Telltale Games is hiring a senior designer. Interesting to hear this. You'd be working in San Rafael, California, because Telltale Games has announced that they're making a Stranger Things game, so one would assume that is what you're going to be working on if you got hired there. PC Gamer has an article, Assassin's Creed Odyssey lets you romance whoever you so choose. Hellenistic affairs. Okay. So I don't know how much of that that was really played in Assassin's Creed Origins, whether you could romance people at all in Assassin's Creed Origins. It seems like they're more and more pushing Assassin's Creed into this Dragon's Age-esque RPG, and further away from what Assassin's Creed was. So at a certain point, the question becomes, have they really just abandoned the Assassin's Creed series in reality and are just using the name to push a completely different gameplay style? I think with Origins, you kind of have to say that is the case, and if anybody, and that this is, I guess, a pretty big if, anybody did really have major love for, I guess, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood would probably be the best. You're probably never gonna see something that feels a lot like that. If you had special love, I kind of did, for Assassin's Creed 1, we never saw that again. If you had a special love for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, we're not really seeing that in the Assassin's Creed series, but Skull and Bones is, I think, attempting to do something somewhat similar to that. And if you love Dragon Age Origins, I guess Assassin's Creed Odyssey might be the one for you. The romance options scare me a lot less than the fact that you have dialogue choices at all. That's just not something at all that makes sense. And as far as like these being Romans, Spartans, or whatever, it would not be unheard of for them to have very, very different than your standard Judeo-Christian morals towards sex. So I wouldn't scream that it's being historically inaccurate. If anything, it's very possibly being more historically accurate. moving on. A RPG Maker game called Dark Fairies came on the Steam. I gotta get through all this news. Way too much. I gotta speed up. It does not even look like an RPG Maker game. It looks like a visual novel. So why it's being tagged as an RPG Maker? Okay, finally, at fifth screenshot, I see something that slightly looks like it's a good RPG Maker game. So my stance on RPG Maker games still stays. They're low effort products usually and not worth your time. So much so that you can just generalize and not have to really worry about being wrong. So this Poisonous Rush. Give me that one. All I'm doing is taking the cheapest cards usually because they add so much to the cost. Next game we have on Steam is called Space Maze. It says it's a casual indie adventure puzzle single player. You know, it looks a little bit like the original Forsaken game, but you're in a maze. And there was a game just a few days ago where you were wandering around the maze, and it did not look anywhere as good as this did. This is 10% off for $4.49, and not for a second would I say that it's probably worth that much, but at least in a maze game, if you want to fly around in a spaceship and try to get through mazes, there's not sure if there's actual procedural generation here.
Which tracks to follow?
Yeah, it doesn't say particularly that it's procedurally generated mazes. This is the only game from this developer. It's really just asking too much for offering too little. I could see the idea of flying around a drone through an area in some as a mini game and some hacker type game, but to have that be the main focus and the only gameplay mechanic is too much. I could see this actually looks rather like Portal, so if there was a Portal-esque game out there that Portal 3, this could be a great minigame section. It would even make sense. Change the drones to one of those personality cubes, spheres. But again, as a standalone product, not enough of a game. Let's see. A PC Gamer has an article, State of Mind is an intriguing, dense sci-fi adventure with pretty environments. Hands-on with the long-in-the-making 3D adventure game. The screenshots I'm seeing of this makes it look like a real game. So, State of Mind is out August 16th. The question, I suppose, here to ask is, can we find it on Steam? I noticed a lot of let's see. Here's State of Mind on Steam. Apparently it's not out yet, but I can wishlist it. Good. a lot of the websites I was following during E3, I would copy the name from the title of something, and by copying the text, the name of it, it would insert other text that said read more about it at like yourgamer.com, which is certainly not helpful and rude and not something you should do ever. Like it's straight up rude. Like, I'm trying to get something done here, forcing me to spend more effort and time cutting and cleaning up text because you're adding garbage text that I don't care about is not useful. Something interesting is happening on Steam. The game that I'm pretty sure has already come out, and maybe it hasn't. Maybe what happened is Wheelchair Simulator VR came out and they're making a non-VR version. Yeah, I guess that's the case. I've run into some games that felt like they may have been kicked off of Steam for being troll games coming back, and so I don't know if some games were snuck in. In this instance, the game I'm looking at is called Wheelchair Simulator. It's not a very good game in my opinion because it's just having a laugh at disabled people, really, and it's not what I would expect from a game from that name. I don't think it's hugely offensive. I don't think it should be censored or banned or anything like that. It's just not what I'd want. So you're in a 3D environment and you're wheelchairing yourself across streets and getting hit by cars and just bouncing around the cars, and you're just avoiding garbage falling out of trucks and construction works. And see, this is just not realistic to what it is. This is much more of a goat simulator, but the character is in a wheelchair, than a honest, caring depiction of what life in a wheelchair might be. Like the wheelchair seems to get boosts and such. It's $4.99. Let's see, and their first post is watch Let's Plays from YouTubers all around the world. So it really is just one of those games. What else do I need to do? I think I made a specific deck with dragons. Apparently I didn't. I guess I need to remake my dragon deck. Apparently I made a deck and then got rid of a deck. Let's play Mage Wild and get that warning every time. Like, how many times do I have to hear that to be like, oh yeah, I got it? Why don't you wait until I actually try to play the cards before you complain? So we pull all the dragons that are actually dragons in, and last time I made this deck I think it was a dragon and draw deck, but this time it might be more of a just dragon. I'm a little short. Okay. Well then let's move over to draw cards. Throw those two in. Throw those two in. Throw that one in. Just need one more card. I'll throw that in. And we're done. And that's like draw cards, dragons, perfect. So one game here and I should be done, which is fine, although it doesn't. We're really far away from that. There, let's see, 3 positive reviews and 1 negative review on Wheelchair Simulator. The 1 negative review is not even in my language, it's in Russian, which, let's see, this is an English, Russian, and Ukrainian game, so it does feel a little trolly, but I guess the definition of straight up trolling has changed. In comparison, Wheelchair Simulator VR, it is positive 90% with 10 user reviews, and it came out May 8th, 2018, so it's been out for a while. Nobody really gave it any attention, so Discovery 2.0 is working just fine as far as keeping games that people really aren't interested in playing out of the perception of few players. Although there's always an argument, maybe there is a large group of people that want to play Wheelchair Simulator and they simply haven't seen it because of Discovery 2.0. But if that's the case, they should just watch me and listen to me, and then I'll tell them. Next game we have on Steam is called Wizard Street. It says it's an action RPG indie casual game. I'm thinking it's a Harry Potter ripoff virtual reality game where you're basically in Diagon Alley casting spells, fighting Dementors. That's a lot of Harry Potter knowledge. There's a wizard book, there's some wizard alchemy circles, and there's some particle effect monsters, but this game certainly seems like it is suffering from dark screenshot syndrome. And the enemies seem to be very difficult to see if there are any enemies on the screen. It's virtual reality only, $8.99, so the list is not terrible. Apparently there's an achievement for every letter and number, so 37 achievements. I don't know how that breaks down. If there's 26 letters and 10, that should be 36, so there must be a final achievement. But that doesn't break down to 5,000 achievements or anything. It says like something like this with more work and more polish could be something interesting. Again, it's something that probably should be a mini game in the larger game, and this is the only game from this developer, so can't really have confidence for that. So Wizard Street, if you're really into Harry Potter and willing to waste your money, I think might be good. Let's see. Otherwise, I'd say avoid it. Next game we have is called Contact Draw Football, and it looks like a cell phone mobile game where you're drawing lines of where a soccer ball will roll and you're trying to roll to a goal. It's 40% off for 59 cents, 129 achievements, so you know it's one of these achievement games and it's not going to be good, so we can close that. We just talked about that game. I swear one of these days I will get to the point where I get that stupid plugin to actually work. That is the close all duplicate tabs plugin for Chrome has been a major disappointment. Let's see, I think we haven't talked about this. Or maybe we have and they just gave it a different name. Yes, okay, yes, we already talked about this game. So, they teased the name of the game on Gematsu. They teased an announcement for a game in a certain series called the Witches X Dragon series, and then later on they came out and said, here's the real name of the game. Rock Paper Shotgun has an article. Resident Evil 2's Swish remake coming in January 2019. I don't know what Swish means. S-W-I-S-H. I guess that means Switch. S-W-I-T-C-H. So is that game RE2 only coming to Switch? I don't think that's the case.
What to do? What to do?
Let reading dragons lie.
Let's see. What am I trying to do?
Well played.
So I think
To my side.
the thing here, I was pretty down on a Resident Evil 2 remake at first because it felt like RE7 is going to be an outlier, and RE8 is just going to go back to being a game like RE6 was, and RE6 was really bad. Or my theory is that RE8 will be probably on the same level of quality as RE5 was, and then you'll see a major drop off from quality again in RE9. But thinking about it a little bit more as I'm switching over to the Americas account, I've never played Resident Evil 2. I've never played Resident Evil 1. And the remakes of Resident Evil 1 didn't look super great. So
Come on, spend an evening by the fire.
So yeah, there's room here for me to be very happy, and I should be very happy about that. And so I'm changing my attitude. I'm willing to learn and grow, and I'm gonna change my attitude and be happy about RE2 looking like a good remake from the trailer, and not looking like the cheap remakes of RE1. In fact, I wouldn't be upset if they made yet another remake of RE1 using the RE7 engine.
Golden comment, golden comment, golden rare, golden epic.
So I got a golden epic from my gold pack. And on my Americas account, still, I am definitely not willing to sit on dust. So, 50 dust here. This is going to knock me up maybe to 2,000 dust. 400 dust here. 1,600 dust. Now, 50 dust here. 1650 and 100 dust here. So I'm at 1750 now, and 50 more. 1800 dust. So next expansion, HS Replay has quite the collection of dust that I could make. And if I go here and go into this and search missing, my collection right now is limited to 1 legendary here, 1 legendary here, and 3 legendaries here. I could right now just summon the Flame Azeroth, I could right now summon Craftus. I don't know why I'm saying summon. And then I'd just be back down to 600 dust. So I'm gonna have to decide which do I care about more. Getting legendaries that I should probably have, or following through and having a bunch of dust for HS replay. I'm not ready to make that decision yet. I'm gonna have to look and see what HS replay has to offer. One of the things in this Rock Paper Shotgun article was a mention that there was a RE2 remake back in 2015. Let's see, the RE2 remake was announced in 2015 along with an unofficial fan remake project that was cease and desisted right when that RE2 remake was made, and so that fan group that was making the fan project went on to make a game called Daymare 1988, and let's kind of look at what this is. This game has been greenlit by the community, and it doesn't seem like doesn't seem it was a Steam greenlight game, and seems like I can look at it and follow it, but it doesn't seem like I'm on the same Steam page, so there's no way to wishlist it. So I'm gonna have to try and search again and see if I can find it. No, it doesn't seem like they have an official page. I like the idea, though, of these fan projects being people spending their time not making fan remakes of things that they're going to get cease and desisted. It's sad that that team had to be cease and desisted to learn their lesson and move on, but I think more and more it's becoming blatantly obvious you should just make your own art, not copy somebody else's art. It's not that hard to make video games. Yes, it's incredibly hard, but it's just as hard as remaking an old video game. Anyways, on the American account, we're gonna probably, unless I already have a dragon deck, need to make a custom deck to play spells and a custom deck to play dragons, and we didn't get the Tavern Brawl done. We haven't even played this.
This is the one that caused a chronological catastrophe.
I have to listen to this before I can hit back, and I'll come back down here and see if there is a custom warlock. Is this custom warlock full of dragons? Nope. So I have no idea why that's there. What about this custom priest? Was this full of dragons? No. So I'll have to decide. I'll have to really decide on that. But there's also still a ton of news too, so stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Steam Summer Sale is coming up. There's a daily sale with some games that I would like to get right now. Today, there's also the Humble Bundle, latest indie bundle, has some games that I'd like to get. So there's a lot going on everywhere. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.